13-0, 13 knockouts. Who'll be fighting this Saturday night against Terrell Woods in Atlanta on BXNGTV.com. Raphael Akpejiori. Raphael, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Mr. Mark. How are you, man?
Doing well. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us. So we're about a little less, when we tape this, a little less than a week away. You're going to be applying your trade in Atlanta, Georgia, take on the 88-fight veteran Terrell Woods. What are your thoughts, Raphael?
It's going to be a good one. This is going to be the toughest fight of my career so far. This guy has over 80, like you said, 88 fights. He's had over 380 rounds in the boxing ring. That's excluding the amateur bouts that he's had, and and that's also including the amount of years that he's had boxing with camps and all of that experience. So this is going to be a tough test for my career, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one. Winning this fight by the grace of God will show the world what I'm all about.
And he's a guy, despite what his record says, he sneaks up on guys. And just his last 4 or 5 fights, he defeated 30-0 J.D. Chapman, 8-0 Rolando Soto. This is just in his last few fights. So obviously you're highly motivated and have to be on your game to take out Mr. Woods.
Yes, he's a very tough opponent. He's not a pushover. There's a reason why we accepted a fight against him. We believe that fighting a guy like him would give us the experience that we need in the number of rounds that he can possibly give us. And we just have to come out to be our best. Hopefully, by the grace of God, things will fall in our favor. But at the end of the day, it's still boxing. We have to go there, apply the fundamentals we know, and all the work that we've done over the past few weeks in preparation so this fight will come out. And I hope that we're going to be successful at the end of the day.
13-0, 13 knockouts. I usually ask fighters when they get the 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, and they're all knockouts. Do you start feeling like, okay, I want to keep this knockout streak, or at this point the knockout streak is just something nice to have, and right now you're just looking to win by any means necessary?
It's nice to have. It's it makes the story sound better. I've never gone into a fight looking for a knockout, and I will never go into a fight looking for a knockout. It just happens to fall. Like I initially said, the goal is to go in there with your fundamentals. If you go in there with your fundamentals of boxing and apply pressure the way that you've been training, some guys can handle it. I don't believe Terrell Jamal Woods is the kind of guy that would not handle it. I think he can handle it. I think he's shown over the past 80-something fights of his career that he can accept and handle pressure. Both him giving it offensively and him receiving it defensively. I'm not going there looking for a knockout. If it comes, all well and good. It's going to be a crown to my success. But yeah, I never go into a fight looking for a knockout, and I never will go into a fight looking for a knockout.
You talked about the fundamentals. A lot of fighters, they learn the fundamentals at an early age. You're a guy who took up the sport late. You were a football player at the University of Miami, a basketball player at the University of Miami. So you feel you still have a lot to learn in this game. And so far you've gotten off to as good a start as possible with winning all 13 fights by knockout. How far do you feel you have to go to? We see the best of Raphael Akpejiori.
Well, I have a lot to learn. I'm not oblivious to the fact that I'm new into the sport. I've been boxing for a little bit less than 6 years. It's nice that, I've been athletic my whole life. So I didn't have to come into the sport trying to get in shape. I didn't have to come into the sport, to be strong or to be fast. I already brought those things with me. So I've taken the past 6 years just learning the fundamentals. The first 2 years as an amateur, the last 4 with Glenn Johnson, who was the best you can possibly get, and every day we just hound the fundamentals of the sport, from making the fight game as simple as possible. Throw the jab 100 times around, focus on the right hand, body shots, sitting down, moving the right way, and not trying to be overtly skillful, as people would like to say, or just focusing on what needs to be focused on to win fights. I think that's what has brought me success over the past. I mean, as a newbie to the sport, and I think that's what's going to bring me success going into the future. Focus on what's important. To me, that's what winning is. Just like I said, bringing the fundamentals into the fight every time, keeping your focus regardless of what happens. That okay, that you can brush that aside and just keep doing what you do. And at the end of the day, you'll be successful at the end of the fight.
Usually, when we see someone turn to boxing from another sport, you're coming. You're coming from boxing from two other sports. Which sport, whether it be football or basketball, most translate to boxing? Like which abilities do you use more that you've used in other sports? Would it be maybe more your football training or your basketball training? Would you say has helped you more in your boxing career?
None of them.
Oh, okay.
Boxing, boxing is a sport of its own. In basketball, you play defense one time, then you go on offense. In football, you're only on one side of the fence. You play offense the whole time, or you play defense the whole time. In boxing, you play both at the same time. There's no timeout. There's no. If you're not in shape, you get buzzed. You can be in the best shape in the world, and you don't have the fundamentals of the game. And you can lose the fight. You could be winning the fight for 12 rounds, and you lose by one night. Nothing prepares you for the sport of boxing except for boxing. It's nice to have played other sports. It's nice to have that athletic background, but the athleticism in boxing can only take you thus far. It's a it's a kill sport. You just have to do your best, focus on what's important, and work hard.
In fact, like I say, I'm from being around gyms. I've seen several professional and high-level college players. They'll take up boxing, especially linemen, because they're using their hands so much. They said they said it helps with that. For like their upcoming season. Do you agree with that a little bit? That maybe if you're a lineman, with all the hand fighting that goes on with pass rushing and blocking and all that stuff, do you think that helps? That would help a football player in that degree?
I do. I do think actually I'm of the school of thought that every football player, every lineman, and actually every quarterback should actually take up boxing, because the fundamentals of throwing the right hand or throwing the hook are the same, but just the same, and actually better enhanced with boxing, because with boxing comes with plenty of firing from one side, and I think that's I personally think every lineman should take boxing, not just for the conditioning itself, but just for applying the strength fundamentals for rotating on one side. So yeah, I think I believe every lineman should do that.
The past, bunch of years, obviously you're of Nigerian descent. Obviously, when we think of that, we think of guys like Samuel Peter, and even before him, Ike Abiabuchi before he ran in. But were you very aware of those guys, and were they influences on you in terms of their boxing success?
I was aware of those guys, but they were not really influences. Everybody comes to boxing from different for different reasons and from different places. I knew Samuel Peter because back in the day, every time he was fighting, the whole country shut down to watch him.
Wow.
That's how influential he was. Ike Abiabuchi is actually a really good heavyweight. I actually got to know him after getting into boxing. I didn't know him that much, I guess, because he didn't win the championship then. We treat our Nigerian champions with a lot of grace, and a lot of celebrity over there. I came into boxing from a different route. They came in from the trenches of boxing. I mean, they started when they were younger. They had a great amateur career. I didn't have any of that. I came in from college, from being here. Just from a different route. So I wouldn't say they had any influence on me coming up.
If I would have asked you while you were, making shooting baskets or playing football for the University of Miami, if I would have said, 10 years down the line, you're going to be in the middle of the ring knocking guys out, rather than maybe playing in the finals or playing for a Super Bowl, you probably would have thought I was crazy if I told you that.
Yeah, even a year before I started boxing, if you had told me that a year before I started boxing, I would have thought you were crazy. Boxing is a thing that, it just came and I accepted it because, I'm the kind of guy that I believe every opportunity you have to take it regardless of what you might feel about it. Then down the road, you only regret the things that you don't do. You don't regret the things that you do. So boxing came through, and I took it and I ran with it. Actually, somebody made me run with it, and I thought it was a great thing for me, and I ran with it. But I never, as far back as I would say 7 years ago, I never thought I would be boxing.
What's it like? Obviously, you're coming from team sports. You're the only guy in between those ropes. When you're playing those other sports, you're relying on your teammates to come together as one. Is it a big kind of difference being that it's only you in there?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. The risk is higher and the reward is higher. You happen to do all the work. The only person that maybe shares your pain is your coach, and he shares your pain not with the punches, but with the time that he spends with you. And the instruction and probably some level of frustration with what you're not doing right. Um, the reward is also great because all the glory comes to you. But sometimes we really don't enjoy the glory as much because you know how much work you put in before you got to the level of winning a fight. It Go ahead.
No, no, I'm sorry. I face what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's completely different. It is nicer because there are no political angles to the sport itself. What you if you go into the ring, the work that you put in is what's going to show. Nobody can help you. No politics is involved when punches are flying. There's no substitution. There's no illegal substitution. There are no. You get the opportunity you get, you make what you want of the opportunities you get, and you will get those opportunities. All of that is what you do with it. So it's a very, very different type of game.
You're a guy who's so far in your career been flying under the radar, and I don't understand how guys 6'8", 250 pounds can fly under the radar. But how many more fights do you think it's going to take, or how many more knockouts for them to start mentioning you as one of the up and coming heavyweights with some of the bigger names out there? How long? Like I said, it's still work in progress. You've only been fighting a handful of years. Is that kind of good that you can kind of take your time a little bit, not get thrown into some fights that maybe you're not ready for?
I don't think I'm not ready for any fight. I don't think there's a fight where um, as long as a man is just like me, I don't think there's any man in the world that I'm not going to be ready for given the time. But with that being said, um, I when I was I guess 3 years into boxing, I used to think that way that, oh, I need to get this number of fights to be recognized, and why is this opportunity not coming? I'm good, but now I don't really care that much. I just care about what's in front of me, I realized that I have a lot of experience that I'm lacking. It is nice to have knockout power, but with knockout power comes the reduction in amount of rounds that you can actually get. I don't think as a professional, I don't think I've had about up to 20 rounds in the boxing ring yet. And that I need to get. That's why this Saturday is very important for me because this is a guy that is a very seasoned veteran. He does not get knocked out. He's going to refuse to lose. He's going to come to fight, and he's going to do his best to make sure that I'm on the losing end. So these are the kind of guys that I need to fight and get better with. I don't think there's a number of fights I need to get to. I think the quality of my boxing is what's going to speak for itself. Going to Atlanta, that's a new market that I'm going to expose myself to. And, hopefully from there, hopefully I do well. And, we just look for what's in front of us. And the next thing will open up after we've taken care of what's in front of us.
I would imagine, and I mean, I don't know this for sure, with guys like Wilder at 6'7", Tyson Fury at 6'9". Have you been called into some camps of some of the guys fighting them? Because there aren't a lot of guys at that size walking around who are credible like yourself. Have you been in some of the camps of their potential opponents?
No, I have not been in camp with them.
Oh,
I
wow.
do spar with a whole lot of them because most of them train in Miami.
Yeah.
So I guess you can call that camp. But I haven't been, in training in a secluded training camp with any of these guys yet. I sparred a lot with, I think we've probably done like 50 plus rounds with Philip Hergovich, Christian Thune, Honoré Wireman. These are Olympians, Frank Sanchez, Ivan Ditko, Tyrone Spong, the top tier guys. I've done hundreds and hundreds of rounds with them from my time as an amateur to this day. I don't say no to sparring because sparring is something that, it's not available for heavyweights. So whatever comes to you, you have to take it. But if it's me going to somebody's camp and training, I haven't really done that aspect of things. So most of my experience in boxing has come to just regular sparring sessions, Saturday sessions, Wednesday sessions with most of these guys every week. If they have a fight, if they're training in Miami, I go to where they are and we get sparring on and, we learn from there.
Is it something that you would like to do at some point, though? Maybe get into a camp with someone who's fighting a Fury or someone who's fighting a Wilder or someone like that? Because, like I said, there aren't too many guys their size. You're one of the very few. I'm actually surprised they wouldn't bring a guy like you in to try to replicate or at least get the look of a 6'8" guy in front of them.
Well, also think about it, right? Their managers probably think I'm no good. I just started boxing less than 4 years ago, and so they probably don't see me as someone that that's been his name has been circulating in the market for a long time. So you can't really blame them on that aspect. I am new to the sport, but it's something that I'll be very much interested in, because I know that one day I'm going to be at that level where I have to hold a training camp and I need to know what a training camp feels like. So USIC training camp is something that I'll be interested in going, or Deontay Wilder training camp, what's his name? Tyson Fury training camp, I think Joshua training camp. These are things that I would love to go to. I know that there's a whole lot of other heavyweights in it that we can actually get work with. And, you can get better from there. So, yes, I would love to be in these types of training camp situations in the future.
I can tell you're a great interview because usually I keep these interviews to like 10 to 12 minutes. I look up, we're almost at 18 minutes and it's flown by just like this. So, and I won't keep you much longer. What do you want to say to the fans before we see you Saturday live on bxngtv.com? Take on Terrell Jamal Woods, the 88 fight veteran. Guy who's pulled a lot of upsets before. What do you want to say to the fans out there before we see you Saturday night in Atlanta?
Well, I just want to say to those that have been supporting me, I really appreciate you. A whole lot of fans have supported me a career thus far. And, keep watching. Good things are about to happen. I don't predict knockouts, but I predict hard work. I predict good boxing, and I'm going to always bring the fight. And it's going to be a good one. Saturday is going to be a good one. We're going to be shutting down the city of Atlanta. And, BXNG TV, that's another place you can watch the fight. And we're going to be there live and direct, putting up a great show of boxing. And by the end of the day, all the fans will be happy that they've seen us fight.
And where can the fans follow you if they want to drop you a line or just follow the comings and goings of an undefeated 13-0, 13 knockout heavyweight? Where they find you on the social media?
Well, YouTube is a great one. You can type my name on YouTube. My videos are on there. But, if you want to follow my day-to-day, I primarily use Instagram. My Instagram is my first name _ my last name, Raphael _Akpejiori. At Raphael _Akpejiori. So there I post my life, my stories, my training sessions, my weight training, my boxing training, my social life most of the time. I try to party a little bit, so don't judge me on that one. So yeah, that's where you can follow me, and that's my primary social media handle.
You're in Atlanta, you're in Miami. I mean, who wouldn't want to? Who wouldn't want to check out South Beach? I mean, I've only been there a few times, and I did that a couple times,
We try
and
not to indulge.
Saturday night turned into Wednesday really quick. So,
Lord.
well,
It's a nice
Ruff,
switch.
I look forward to meeting you this week in Atlanta. We wish you best of luck, and we'll talk to you along the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the time again. Appreciate
Thank
you.